arrived from the sports desk. Let's get straight into it. Of course, we are live outside here at the Leonardo in Sandton. Of course, wearing all things that has to do with old school as well, in particular for the greatest rivalry tour, but also the greatest rivalry match taking place, the Test 1 match taking place tomorrow at Ellis Park. And of course, I'm joined by someone who is, of course, an All Blacks Centurion, someone who is absolutely incredible, has had a phenomenal career, a back-to-back World Cup rugby winner as well. Keven Mealamu joining us right here at Morning Live. Kevin, good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
No, of course. I mean, we're honored to have you here as a Centurion and also, someone who's led the haka. In fact, I want us to talk about that. You've led the haka, at least to my understanding, 31 times in terms of leading it as well. How does it feel when you're going to a match in particular, right, as an All Black, and you feel that pride when it comes to the haka?
Oh, it's an absolute privilege, and I think there's one thing when you're doing it at home, but when we're away and we get an opportunity to bring the team together, it's a special moment. So you can imagine it. When you're looking around, there's little groups of black jerseys, but it's pretty much just you and your teammates in that stadium. So it's just a great way to connect and share a bit of our culture as well.
As someone who's a legend, of course, of the All Blacks and someone who's also part of the board as well when it comes to the All Blacks. So let's look at the current generation, but also just the old generation as well. How much does the jersey of wearing the All Blacks mean to you, and also in particular to just every single New Zealander who wears the jersey?
I think when we think of this competition, Rugby's Greatest Rivalry, I think of those iconic moments of seeing Sean Fitzpatrick, his hands raised, him punching the ground. We remember how tight those matches were, and I think when you've had a chance to be a part of that as well, it's just good to be able to share those moments with our players coming through. It's always good to remember where you've come from and things that have inspired you to get there, but also our players have got that opportunity to take this time tomorrow and start creating their own history.
I mean, speaking of that, a team creating their own history in particular, but also a new generation of New Zealand rugby players, a new generation of New Zealand rugby as well. I mean, how are you feeling at the moment? How is the confidence? I mean, world number 2, just behind the Springboks, but equally, the All Blacks are in such a great form as well. I mean, 5 wins before this particular match as well. Let's talk about that. How do you feel?
I think we're building nicely. It's always great, our Springboks are number 1 in the world, so they've set the standard. And as a team around the world, we want to be able to make sure that we're constantly lifting our standard. And I'm happy. I'm not happy. We're not satisfied. We think we're on the right track. The performances have been great, and we can just see the team building and getting better as every game goes on.
Right, Kevin, of course, you're part of an era of such dominance, in particular from the New Zealand sides, right? And looking at the greatest rivalry between the Springboks and New Zealand, what particular matches would you look at and say, this game was very difficult against South Africa, matches that were won, matches that you felt like you had lost? I don't know, let's just talk a little bit more about that as well. Just go back into that memory, vault. Let's just have that conversation.
I had the privilege of playing the Springboks a lot of times. I think I had 24 test matches against the Springboks. But the ones that probably stand out are the ones that you learnt. And usually learnings mean ones that didn't go your way, So I still remember, it wasn't here, but still remember Ricky January scoring a great try in Dunedin. And I think part of him scoring that try was me missing him in the tackle. So those are things that etched in your mind for forever, as well as the great moments that you have those close test matches as well, which is most of the time. But I think it's the learnings that stand out the most, the ones that you let get away.
All right, so now, Kevin, listen, of course we're running out of time, but wanted to know tomorrow, first test, Ellis Park, South Africa versus the All Blacks. What's your prediction? I want the honesty. I want you to be very honest at this moment about how you feel about that particular fixture tomorrow.
The best team will win on the day.
It's actually quite simple, right? Of course, we're hearing it from Keven Mealamu, letting us know it's quite simple. The best team will win on the day. And of course, we're ready and excited for that particular game against the All Blacks tomorrow, the Springboks versus the All Blacks, Ellis Park. And I mean, come out in your numbers because we're all quite excited for this. It is the greatest rivalry when it comes to rugby history and also sport history as a whole. As well, 102 years that we're talking about here when it comes to these particular two teams. But of course, it is going back to the break. You're watching Morning Live.